everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I am Omkar Shinde, your host for this particular interview. I want to welcome you all to the second episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. So, talking about interview series, it is a series where we invite people who have interned at companies and converted that internship opportunity into a full-time offer. Our guest for today's interview is Irene Banerjee. She recently completed her software development internship from DE Shaw India Private Limited and also got a pre-placement offer from them. So the whole video is going to be interesting. Make sure to stick around. I hope that you learn something out of it which can help you in your specific career as well. So without wasting further time, let's proceed towards the interview. Hey Irene, and I want to welcome you to the second episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. I'm very excited. Hello, everyone. Hi, Omkar, and thank you for having me here. It's a great honor. I hope that we're going to have an amazing conversation today. Somebody will learn something from it. I'm very excited. Thank you for having me.
That's good to know, and really a pleasure to have you as well. So let me for like proceed with my first question. Like, tell me something about yourself. Like, let our audience know what you are doing at the beginning. So tell me something about yourself. What you do.
I am Irene. I am Irene Banerjee. I live in Kolkata. I've always lived here. Currently I am pursuing my Bachelor's of Engineering in Computer Science from Jadavpur University, and I am in my fourth year. Uh, so, all my academic achievements, I ensured that they were plastered on my bio, but I am more than happy to repeat them again. I was part of the team that was a finalist in SIA 2019. I was part of the team that made it to the top 6 of Hult Prize regionals. I was also part of the team that developed an application for the departmental library of our university. Uh, mm, so besides that, I've worked in a lot of projects under my professors. I have a publication, and I hope many more are there to come. Uh, I am an active debater. I think I'm kind of accomplished there. Like very recently, before all this pandemic started in January, I actually went to IIT Bhubaneswar as a judge for a debate contest. Yeah. And besides that, I love animals. I love animals. I have the most cute, adorable 4 little cats, and I know they will make an appearance. They will be running. So, cuteness alert.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, and it's really interesting. And I hope that you all know that what Irene is doing right now. So my next question is: you told me that you are currently pursuing your bachelor's in computer science from Jadavpur University. So my next question is, tell me something about your college life at Jadavpur University. Like, what is like Irene as a like how is Irene as a student? Like, how is she as a student? What are like in college activities are you indulged? And tell me something about your college life.
I think Jadavpur University is very special to me. I think everybody's college is special to them, and I think it's a very beautiful place. Because like unlike most other universities, it's like located in the heart of the city, right? And there's this, it's on a very busy road, and outside there's all this traffic and cars moving and so much of noise. And the moment you walk in through the door, it's like a different world. And I think I've grown a lot as a person once I entered the university, because I think it has a very distinct and a very warm and friendly and very nurturing culture, which includes the teachers and our seniors. And somehow, because we have received such positive treatment from every one of them, I think we also try to be helpful towards our juniors. Like our teachers, you can approach them anytime, and I mean, they're not only just teachers, they're like the best researchers, the best academics, they're the best in their field, in the entire country. And even when we were undergraduates in our first year, we approached them and we worked on projects under them, which now that I look back, I feel like it was an amazing opportunity, and a lot of students would kill for an opportunity like that. And I cannot just thank enough my seniors, because I think from day one they were there. They organized these code club classes. They guided us everywhere. They showed us how to write our
They
CV,
guided
and in
you,
fact,
they mentored you, they nurtured you,
yeah,
basically you're talking
yeah,
about. So
yeah,
they played an
yeah,
important role in your this 3 years
yeah.
or 4 years of journey as an engineering
Yeah, they
graduate.
play, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that since they were so kind and helpful to us, I think we are as seniors, we also feel responsible towards our juniors. And I think that is why Jadavpur University has the name that it has. I think mostly because of the culture that it has of helping each other, and uh, sharing all the knowledge that you have with the people who might be new to it. And that is why I think students are so successful from there. And I feel that I feel it's like a family, and I've had an amazing experience.
That's interesting. That's amazing. And you also told that you had some projects and everything. So, like, tell me about the importance of coding in your life. See, when did you first fell in love with coding? Like, you thought that these magical lines of code can do all these things. Like, when did you first fell in love with coding?
In order to answer your question, I should like kind of clarify what coding or programming just kind of means to me. So it's okay, right? When a lot of people think about coding or programming, they think about it like I think most of the people have an image of a very cool guy in a hoodie, on a hunched over a keyboard typing something, and there's a black screen and green something digits and numbers coming up on screen. And I feel that all the cool part of actually writing the code and running the code is like not even 10% of the actual job. I think most of it is very old school. You're just sitting with a pen and paper and thinking. You have a problem and you have to come up with this solution. So I think coding or programming is, I think, the latest in the art of problem solving. Uh, I think something that was traditionally done using mathematics or statistics, and it has evolved into computer science today. What I feel about it. And so going back to your question, I think I've always enjoyed solving problems. Even as a child, I loved arithmetic. I was in love with my mental maths. And in my 11 and 12, I was probably like the only student who actually enjoyed preparing for the entrance examinations.
Wow, that's great.
I could solve so many problems, and as a result, I feel like college life or computer science feels like a very natural extension of what I enjoyed doing. So I think coding did not. I think I feel very fortunate that it feels like something I've always done, and I've always enjoyed doing, and now I can use it. I am able to pursue it as a career. I think I'm very lucky in that respect.
Great. That's great. And it's great. Like coding also, like it develops us over time. Like you develop the interest over time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not like when you entered the college, you first you want to code. You had that background from the before. You were you were interested in coding from before. From 11, 12, you were into like maths, and you loved doing maths. You love problem solving, and that's where you developed the love for the coding. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And my next question is like, you also told that you had some projects. You were in the SIH, you Smart India Hackathon. You were a participant. You also were a finalist. So tell me something about your Smart India Hackathon experience, your projects, and also you were also a Hull Prize winner. So tell me like one by one about these things.
Okay. So which one should I start with?
You can start with this thing, Smart India Hackathon. Discuss about the project and tell about the Hull Prize as well after you discuss all these things.
Okay.
You can go around.
So the moment you like said Smart India Hackathon, what came to my mind and what struck me, I think I did not realize it back then, was that we were traveling from Kolkata to Bangalore, and it was being held in NIT Surathkal, and we were traveling for over a day. and then we had to work overnight. And I remember, and and it amazes me that none of us were tired. We should have been tired, right? But I mean, the atmosphere is like that. It's so charged. There are like the best teams from all over the country, and they're working so hard, and the atmosphere is so charged. And I think probably we were all high on Gatorade or something, but the experience is amazing. And I mean, we came in. Of course, we had a plan in our mind that this person will do this person will do that, and of course, it didn't work. Like in high pressure situations, something always goes wrong. And I think then what we learned is we improvised and we did something which wasn't initially planned, but it worked out. And I think with experiences when you participate in events like this, I think you gain experience of working in a team, of taking decisions on the spot. When you are working on a project long term, you don't get the opportunity to gain experiences like this. I think these are experiences that help. If not anything, it boosts your confidence. Uh, so then I think it was great. It was about solving problems, and all of us loved doing it. Uh, uh, the things we thought would create a lot of problem didn't. The things we thought would be easy did. For example, our problem statement was we had to scan a medical prescription and then analyze the data inside the prescription. For example, give alerts to the patient of when he has to take his medicine, or check his vitals, keep a track of his progress and all of that. And where we faced the most trouble was that we couldn't even humanly read the prescriptions. In order to judge whether the algorithm was doing right, we couldn't even humanly read the prescriptions. So it was fun, and it was great.
Yeah, so you did a project, like you did a project for a healthcare industry kind of thing.
Yeah, that was what we did for the SIH.
Yeah.
And we developed the application there.
That's great. So Irene, it's like even if you do the project, even if you do something, you learn something out of it. So that's the biggest thing you take away from that specific Smart India Hackathon. So it's a really great initiative started by the Indian government, and I want to thank the Indian government who have started such an initiative for students who can learn something like. In college, you can see like we learn not technically, theoretically, and in this Smart India Hackathon and all these projects, we get to learn like practically, and we'll get the opportunity to implement those stuff, those we learn out in the class. So it's a really great thing. Like you contributed to the college as well. You did projects, you participated in the hackathon, and you were also one of the finalists. So it is a really nice experience you had with Smart India Hackathon thing. And right now, I want to go over to the Hulk prize which you got. So tell me something about that.
So for people who don't know, Hulk prize is not a technical interview. It's not a technical contest. It's a business contest. So you are given a problem statement. I think for 2019, it was generating employment for like 1 million people in 10 years, and we had to come up with a business solution. So we qualified for the regionals, and then we had like 2 months, and we had to build a sort of a pilot, because it was a business contest. We had to show them that our idea was viable, and our solution was related to decentralized dairy farming. So, I mean, we actually employed a homeless person. So, I mean, those 2 months were crazy for us because we were all engineering students. We had no idea about how to start a business or anything. We didn't know anybody. And all the internship interviews were going to be held in like a few months, and our friends were there. But we were willing to put in a lot of hard work. I mean, it was not just mental work. We were traveling on a local train, and you know how local trains are. And we were going to a village where we were seeing milk. We were judging the quality. We were helping in distribution. It is a lot of work, but you understand that anything which might seem bizarre or impossible in the beginning, If you're willing to put in enough effort, you can do it. And the amount of positive feedback that we got there at the Hull Prize, although we didn't win that round, we didn't win the regionals. I think we came second place. A lot of people were willing to, fund our business, but we were not ready at that point. We wanted to pursue our education. But I mean, it feels good when you get such positive feedback out of your hard work. And it was an amazing experience. We were there with students from all over the world. It was great exposure. It boosted our confidence immensely. So yeah,
That's great. That's great. And Irene, I just want to mention one thing. Like it's okay to like not win. Okay, so it happens sometimes that you don't win. It's great, but you learn something. And the most important thing is the students in your college. They are pursuing that undergraduate degree. But along with that degree, you are doing something extra, and that's important. You are doing something extra out of it. You are adding some extra to your CV along with the number. So that's great. And all these experiences you had, the Smart India Hackathon, the projects you did, the Hull Prize. So it overall makes you, you make an overall good profile with a technical background along with experience in business background as well. So that's great. And one should be like that. One should do 1 plus 1 11. So did you get my point? Like 1 plus 1 11. So that it's like you should do something extra. You should not like stick to the academics, but you should also contribute to the college. You should also do something for the community. So it's really great. And that's nice. That's nice what you've been doing. And my next question is, how did you get this internship opportunity with DE Shaw India? Like, when did you get this opportunity?
For me, it was it was straightforward. DE Shaw came to our campus to hire interns, and I cracked the interview and I got it. It was kind of straightforward for me.
So it was kind of a campus placement kind of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of a campus
placement. So that's great. So DE Shaw came to a college and you cracked the interview. So how did you crack the interview? Like, how was your interview experience? Tell me something about the rounds DE Shaw had. So tell me more about the interview experience.
So I could say that there were 3 distinct rounds and maybe 2 not so distinct rounds. What I mean by that is, we initially had to submit all our CVs, I think a day or 2 prior to when the company was scheduled to come. And from the CVs, I think they gave a list, they returned a list of around 200 candidates who were actually allowed to, who could actually sit for the coding round, which is the round like in front of an actual computer. Then there was the coding round, which like had 1 classical coding question, and then there were a bunch of general aptitude questions, general questions from computer science, like all the DSA questions of time complexity, or questions from operating system, networking, DBMS, and like general computer science questions.
That's basically like that question tests your knowledge. So
that question tests our knowledge. Yes, and there was 1 coding question, but the bulk of it was like the general aptitude and your general knowledge in computer science. Okay. So once like that round was cleared, from like that round, from like the around 150 or 200 students, I think 15 students got selected through the screening process.
So you were from the 16 students. Yeah, that's great.
I was one of the.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It was kind of surprising because DE Shaw comes to a campus and the company doesn't hire a lot of people. So it was a great confidence booster, and it was the first company that came. So I was thrilled at that point. And then we had another 2 rounds of interview. So the 2 technical rounds. So both of these technical rounds were kind of similar. They asked they asked 1 coding question in each, like what happened to me. They asked 1 coding question. And I think the bulk of the time was spent in going through my CV, discussing my projects, going through everything that I've written on your CV. So which means that if some of you bluff in your CV, the interviewer is going to find out and you're going to get caught. So
you have to be honest. You have to be honest. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you have to be very honest. Like they will find out if you're bluffing on your CV or not. So I think the interviews are kind of like an almost an hour, 45 minutes long, and a lot of emphasis was given on the projects I had done, how much my actual contribution was, and they would ask questions like why you did something, why didn't you do this, and I think it was important to answer all of these questions very honestly, because nobody expects you to know everything, but they expect you to be honest about your understanding. The coding questions they ask, even in the coding round, they are pretty straightforward and simple. And I think here I should mention a point. Like, I think I did this on purpose because I think a senior advised me was that whenever I was asked a coding question in an interview, what I did was I walked the interviewer through my thought process. That is, I meant that I would first say that this is the brute force process. This is what is coming to my mind immediately, and then I can reduce the time here. I can reduce the space here, and then I would say like if all of them are integers, I can do this, and it will make it faster. So I was walking the interviewer through what I was thinking. It not only helps me like to come up with the best solution, but it also helps the interviewer to understand what you are thinking, because at the end of the day, they are hiring you for how you think, right? And not like they're hiring you for how you think.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think yeah, like you should walk the interviewer through your thought process when you're solving a question in front of them. That also keeps the engagement level up, I feel. And after that, we had a HR round. I don't think from the first technical interview, I think 8 of us were selected from the 16, and then we had a second interview, and then we had an HR round. Where the questions are pretty simple and straightforward, like where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why do you want to join Shaw? What are your goals and aspirations? And then the results came out.
So out of those eight, how many were selected?
Out of those eight, two people were selected ultimately.
So you and another one, so two people were selected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you cracked a tough interview because DE Show, I think that it is a picky kind of a like company. So it only takes few people, but they ensure that they get the best people from that specific university, and you were one
Yeah.
of them. So that's great. So all these experiences you had helped you cracking that
Yeah.
interview at DE Show. So that's great.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. And my next question is, after getting selected for DE Shaw, after getting selected for the internship role, how was your how was your internship experience at DE Shaw? Like, tell me something about give me some details about where you were located in Kolkata or out of Kolkata. Where did you do the internship? Tell me something about the internship.
So initially, it wasn't supposed to be an work from home. Obviously not. We like everybody knows that like about the office, D Shaw's office in Hyderabad, and we had heard from our seniors that that it's a fun place. It's a wonderful looking place, and the food is wonderful. But we were unlucky, and due to the pandemic, it was a work from home situation. So
Okay.
I had to work here. But if I could use like one word to describe my entire experience, it would be enriching. I mean, I have never had so much fun learning. Like every one of us who gets an internship, right? I heckled the senior who had interned with Shaw the previous year for like the rest for like one whole year before the internship. Like, what did you do? What should I prepare? What kind of projects do they give? And he said that do a full stack. It's probably going to be a full stack thing. You do your React, you do your JS and all that. And I had been completely prepared with all of that. And then fortunately or unfortunately, mine was not at all a full stack development project. It was completely a back-end tool dealing with routers and switches. And of course, I didn't know anything about routers and switches. I knew nothing. I had never used any of the technologies that I utilized in my project. I didn't even know the programming language, which was Go, by the way. And I was learning something new every day. But the kind like your mentors, how much they support you, your managers, and you feel very valuable, and you want to learn because you feel like you're adding value to this team that you're now a part of. And I think that made that you never felt like, I never felt like I was just an intern and I was given just anything to do. No, the projects that each of us were given had value and had the potential to add value to the firm, and which helps. If you feel important, you want to do the work. So I think it was an amazing experience. I learned so much. I learned so much from my mentor and manager. Not only technical skills, I learned a lot of work ethics and things like that. It was an amazing experience for me.
That's great. That's great. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so you also told that you had a mentor and a manager. So tell me something about even if it is a crisis situation, you are working from home, but you were in touch with some of the managers. So can you just tell me about the work culture at this thing, DE Shaw, and how people treat you as an intern? Did they welcome you? How did they support you as an intern? And tell me something about the work culture at DE Shaw.
I mean, not once during the entire 2 months did I feel like I wasn't connected to the organization. So we set up the entire system on our own laptop, but if the culture is such as DE Shaw, I was just an intern and I was interning for 2 months. And if I wanted, I could message, I could connect to anyone within the firm, like from the top management to anyone. And I know that they would have been polite, and I know every one of them are approachable. So my mentor, I had daily check-ins with my mentor, a weekly check-in with my manager. So I never felt like I wasn't getting any input, that I was disconnected. The SIP team, like the summer internship program team, they ensured that we also interacted with the other interns. They held these fun hours where we interacted with the other interns, and so it never actually felt like we were remote. We felt very connected. There were a lot of other sessions, like we had sessions on how to present, because we had to give a final presentation at the end. There were sessions about team building. There was one about mental health during the COVID situation, financial literacy. So like the experience was so immersive. Even being remote, I can only like wonder how great it would have been if you could have been there in the office. But it was an amazing experience. And back then, during my internship, we had the cyclone here in West Bengal, and for that, there was no connectivity, and I couldn't work for days. Everyone was so understanding. My mentor was like, you don't have to work, you ensure that everybody is safe. And not only that, a lot of the senior management would message me and ask me how I was doing. So you feel like you're a part of the team, and they make you feel very welcome. That is the culture at DE Shaw. It's amazing, and I'm so fortunate that I will get to start my career from a place like that, surrounded by people so humble and so warm. I cannot.
It's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So DE Shaw is very much welcoming, and also it supports the new interns to make an impact and do something good in life. So that's great. So they have a push from the back, and they help people who wants to proceed in life. So that's great. So that is all about the work culture. So that's great. So you told me that you had an internship you were doing remotely. So tell me something about your roles and responsibilities as an intern for like SD intern for DE Shaw. How many hours a week did you work on the specific project? And even if it is working remotely, how many hours did you dedicate to that project, to the internship? Like, tell me something about that.
From their side, they didn't give us any stipulated time. Like, you don't have to work. Like, there was no structured time frame. Like, you have to work from 9 to 5 or anything. They were kind of flexible with that. Like I said, I had there was a system between me and my mentor so that we could communicate. And the rest of it was very flexible. So I am personally a very morning person. So I would probably work from 6 to maybe late afternoon. When there was more work to do, I would obviously work more. But my friend, the other guy who was selected, he was a late night person, so he would work late at night. So there was no constrained time. But I think all of us dedicatedly at least sat for a minimum of, I think, 9 hours a day to work, because we love working, and we are serious people at the end of the day. We didn't have to work on Saturdays and Sundays. Whenever my mentor would see me online on the weekends, he would be like, "Why are you working?" I mean that like the atmosphere there isn't formal. I think the focus there is more on you learning rather than us doing something for the firm. I think what they judge you on is more on your learning curve, how you're learning, your own growth, and so they gave us the flexibility to whatever suits us, so that we could learn and we could grow the the most.
Okay, so tell me something about the project which you were doing. What project you were assigned?
Uh, my like I said, it was a backend tool, and it involved it was a backend tool that was supposed to perform, I think, upgrades on network devices like routers and switches. So I cannot obviously go into the details, but I was mainly using Go. I was using Expect, the Go version of Expect. Those who don't like whatever Expect is, you guys can look it up. I was also like, there was the part of communicating with the devices. So interactive sessions, you had to log into a device remotely. There was a security aspect of it. Then I had to think about the stakeholders, which is something I learned. Like whenever we work on projects, we don't really think about the myriad of stakeholders, like when we are doing our self projects or like a research project. So we don't think about the ultimate, because there are no ultimate end users, right? But these tools are being used by people. I think a lot of focus was given on stakeholders and how to make their experience better. I think the tools and technologies I would be like, I use Go. I think I use Python, because most of their code base is in Python. So we had to make a Python API. So communicating between two languages, which at first didn't seem like a big deal, but it became a big deal, and it was kind of tough. Then using Expect, I use other things like flow-based programming, service architecture, like microservices. There was a lot of things. Creating a database with my tool. These things are all new to me, and for anybody who's going to intern anywhere, you should expect that most of the things are going to be new. But I think the key here is communicating with your mentor and manager, because they are going to guide you in the right direction. They will ensure that you're not wasting your time. But it's also up to us. It's also our responsibility primarily to make an effort and learn and try. Uh, so yeah.
That's
Did
great.
I
So
make sense?
you had an entire enriching experience to learn something about
Yeah.
from this internship opportunity. And I want to ask you that what skills did you possess which made you convert that internship opportunity into a PPO? So what skills? Tell me something about your skills. What skills did you possess which impressed DE Shaw and they gave you that PPO, like the offer letter to join DE Shaw as a full-time SDE?
Uh, so, like I said, I did not know any of the technologies that I use, but I think my biggest strength would be the fact that I was very dedicated and I was serious with my work. I made it a point to sit at least 9 or 10 hours. I was putting in a lot of honest effort. I was ensuring that I was learning. I was ensuring that before I asked my mentor for help, that I had exhausted all the avenues. I was working hard for and it helped because we were in a pandemic and I didn't have to go out or do anything. But I was completely focused, despite the surrounding being informal. I was very, very focused in my work. I think all of us are very intelligent people, and I think it boils down to how much hard work and effort you're willing to put in. And I think the next biggest point would be that I was very honest in my communications, and I think this is very important. Like in any of my check-ins with my mentor or my manager, I never bluffed my results or how much progress had I made. At no point did I say that I had done more than I'd actually done. I didn't say that I knew something while in reality I didn't, which actually gives them an honest impression of how I am growing as a person, and which also helps me realize realistic goals. And I was organized. Whenever I had meetings with anybody, like my mentor, my manager, or when I was, because it was a tool, it was a software to be used internally in the firm. We also had sessions with the actual team who would be using the software. So whenever even they gave input, I ensured that I was writing it down. I sat down with my mentor. We made a weekly task list. I ensured that I was doing them correctly. I was, allocating proper time to them. Of course, I couldn't finish everything, but I was honest in my effort. I was honest in my communication, and I think they saw how much I grew in a period of 2 months, and they felt that, if this person can grow and learn so much in 2 months, he can learn anything.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like computer science or software is a very dynamic field. The technologies that are being used today won't be used not even maybe 3 or 5 years down the line. And so ultimately, it boils down to how much you can grow, how much you're willing to learn. So I think that's the biggest skill I had.
That's great. That's great. That's awesome. Like what you like talked about. So my last question for the interview is some tips or advice you want to give to the aspirants who are like willing to work for D Shaw in the future, who are willing to crack that SD role, who are willing to get that job opportunity at D Shaw. So what are some of the tips or advices you want to give?
I think I should first this is something I cannot stress enough on, and I see a lot of my juniors not giving enough stress on it. That is, you first have to learn your basics. That is your DSA, your operating system, your computer organization, OOP, your networking, DBMS. You have to know the basics, and of course, and special focus on DSA. You have to know your basics very, very well. I think a lot of people who try for these interviews or want to work at these companies, they focus on learning the latest language, the latest framework, the latest tools and toolkit, and somewhere in those fancy stuff they forget about the basics. These are some things that will help you achieve something, but you can only use them when you know how to use them and where to use them. You should. I feel that it's more important to learn where to use the stack and where to use a queue rather than learning how to write a stack and queue in 20 different languages. So you have to focus on your problem solving skills. You have to be good at problem solving. You have to be good at thinking and learning. And after that, once that is in check, like provided you're doing point number one very well, and if you're currently in your first years and second years, I think I would ask you to focus on growing your CVs, being kind of having a dynamic CV. Focus on taking part in different events, getting exposure, getting experience, being confident. Do a lot of projects. If you're able to do projects under your professors, that is amazing. If you're not, do self projects. But all of this provided you're doing point number one. And then when the interviews come up, you have to just go through your basics and you'll be good to go.
That's great. That's some great piece of advice from your side. And I personally think that like the person who is going for interviews, he must be good with basics. So it's very important, and that's a very crucial point you mentioned, because people like learn a lot of languages, but they don't have a good base. So it's very important to have a good base of things. Like it's very important to start from the bottom, like master each and every skill, and then use that skill in developing products, be it technology or be it working on an internship. So that's great. You're like, thanks for like, it also helped me as an like, that advice also helped me, I'm telling. So that's great. That's some great advice.
Thank you so much.
Great. Yeah. And with this, I would like to conclude the interview, and a big thanks to you for devoting time from your busy schedule and coming here, sharing your experiences with our audience. So it was an amazing talk with you. I learned something, like even the audience will learn something out of it, but I personally, as a person also learned something from your interview. So it's awesome. Like I had a very good like interview, a very good talk with you, and like I don't know you as a person, but I know you a lot better after this interview. So that's really great. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Some words of motivation you want to say, not technically, but some words of motivation you want to give to our audience.
Like, to get to companies like these. These are dream companies, right? And maybe 2 years ago, I couldn't see myself getting there because I'm not the topper of the class. I am not like the studious kind of people. But these companies don't want a super high GPA. They don't want a very illustrious CV. What they don't want you to be your board toppers or your J toppers. If you are somebody who is willing to work, who is honest with their work, and has a very strong foundation, of problem solving, you don't need all the background, and even you don't need to come from a first tier or a second tier university. They should hire everywhere. They look for talent. So be honest in your effort, and it doesn't. And the rest of the things, the GPA and all, it doesn't matter. Not that much. You cannot have. You cannot, there has to be a minimum. I'm not have a minimal GPA. That if you're not having like a minimum GPA, it shows a lack of effort, right? You don't need to be that studious. You just have to be good at problem solving, which is fairly easy in today's day and age, right? You can go on to any coding platform and learn, and you can do it.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to tell you guys that I've mentioned the social links of Irene in the description. So do check it out. Do reach out to her, ask her questions. So if you have any questions like after watching this interview, and that's some really great like piece of advice, piece of motivation. What can I say about it? So I am out of words right now because I like grasped too much from your interview. So that's really great. And with this, I want to conclude the video. And I want to thank you again for making the presence
Thank
here.
you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's great. And like, if you are watching the video up till now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, reach out to Irene. Okay, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of interview series. Until then, keep learning, keep inspiring, keep growing. Thank you.